Hello, my name is Jake Giblin. I'm the Math 2 honors teacher that your child will be experiencing this year. They will be with me during Math period 2. I also happen to be the Math department chair. So if you have additional questions about the department or pathways that your child might be thinking about experiencing, please feel free to ask me at any time. Just to share a couple of quick things about the class. Let's start with some of the basics. Look, 75% of the grade for your student will be what we'll call assessments of learning. Those are kind of the last chances to exhibit what you learned from a unit, and those are basically unit exams. We just had our first one for Unit 1 last week, and those are final. We'll talk about ways that certain grades can be improved, but unit exams are not. 25% are assessments for learning. Those are things we're going to do in the class that are designed to help students understand what they know and don't know in preparation for unit exams. Those are homework quizzes, which they'll get pretty much every class, which will cover 4 to 6 questions from the previous 1 to 2 nights of homework or 1 to 2 sections of homework. Mid-unit quizzes, just basically bigger quizzes that cover about half of the material in a particular unit. And then if we have any projects, that goes to assessments for learning. If we have a final exam, which right now that's up in the air, the difference would be is that the final exam is 20%, so the overall semester grade would adjust, as you can see here, which is 60% would be the assessments of learning, 20% of your grade would be the assessments for learning, and then the additional 20% would be the final exam. Now, I mentioned that assessments of learning are not correctable, but often students will ask, hey, is there a way I can do corrections or retake a quiz? And the answer is no, but I do view those mid-unit quizzes as growth points. It is not a finalized learning stage. And because it's not, I believe that they will uh, benefit by coming to me, asking for help, getting help from a tutor, getting help from maybe a parent at home, brother or sister, and learning the material that they did not know. Because of that, and because I believe that if they improve their learning, there should be some uh, note of that in their grade. What I will do is this: if they take a test and get a better grade than that mid unit quiz, so let's say they had a rough quiz, it was a 70%. They go home, they study, they do what they need to do to get ready for the test, and by the time the test comes around, they get a 90. I'm going to go back to that mid-unit quiz and add 20 points back. So their 70% is going to become a 90%. So they go from a C minus to an A minus, and that just represents the knowledge growth. And you'll see that like in TAC where the grade is, that's what it'll show. It's a knowledge improvement score, and I will add that directly back. It's not partial; it's everything. So encourage them if they struggle on a quiz. It's not the end of the line. I expect sometimes they will struggle because it's early in the learning process. But if they take the time to ask questions, improve, I will improve that grade for them as well. Now, often we're going to get to points where the students need help. Um, it just might be difficult. No big deal. Or maybe they didn't understand the lesson I taught. All right, we have several options. The one that's most direct is me. I have office hours Tuesday through Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. and from 3:30 to 4 p.m. Now, keep in mind those are obviously very specific times. Um, so if I'm not available during a time when your child needs help, we do have a couple other options. Um, One of them is a virtual math resource with Mr. Lee. He runs it from third through eighth periods. You simply would click on this. It will open up a sign up, and they can pick a time during the day when they're available. When they click it, they will be sent an email with uh, a virtual link to join Mr. Lee during their designated availability. Another is a peer tutoring. Peer tutoring is what it sounds like. It is students from our school, typically honors, Math 3, pre-calc honors, or calculus students who are volunteering their time to work one-on-one with um, one of their classmates. So if you have a student who, one, would maybe benefit from more one-on-one attention, because during my office hours, I might have a couple students show up. Mr. Lee might have a couple of students who show up. Um, if you want more one-on-one attention, peer tutoring might be a good option. Or if your student is just looking at, I think I'd prefer to work with someone my age, peer tutoring is a great option. Now, one thing to keep in mind is even though these are my office hours, 7:30 to 8:30 and 3:30 to 4, this is literally the only class I teach. I teach second period, Math 2 honors, and that is it. The rest of my job is administrative for the department. So there is often time during the day that I could be available for help, or on Mondays and Fridays. Um, all that has to happen is your child has to come and send me an email and say what their availability is, and I will try to find time for them. Ultimately, I want to make sure that they have a good experience, learn as much as they can, and I can provide them opportunities to get feedback as much as possible. Now, the vast majority, and you'll see this probably throughout the presentations you view today, the vast majority of what your students and your children will get are my students. I say students a lot. The vast majority of what your children will need to access for this class will be on Google Classroom. Most of it's on their classwork, and then there's two spots here: weekly lesson plans and unit notes that I want to point out to you that are particularly of note. Uh, this is the Google Classroom page. This again has the office hours for students to see. Okay. Has the link for the virtual math resource center with Mr. Lee. It also has the peer tutoring link for students to sign up. That's what's in the stream. The classwork is where most of what we're going to do exists. And I want to start with this weekly learning plan. The weekly learning plan is literally what is going to be required of them for the week. It will provide the link for our class and my office hours. It will provide the learning targets that they will need for this week. It will talk about the different activities and then the homework. Um, and then last, it's also going to have some ideas about when different assessments are coming up, whether they are homework quizzes. Um, you'll notice right here, we got a homework quiz coming up this Friday. Um, or if there is a bigger assessment, the mid-unit quiz or unit tests, I'll make those notes down here as well. So if your child is ever wondering, hey, what am I supposed to do tonight? This is where they go first. To go to the e-learning lesson plan for the week. It has everything they need to know about what they should be doing. Now, if for some reason they are gone a day, whatever, internet fritzed out, they don't feel well, they can get the notes for that day. We're just beginning Unit 2, so I'm going to show you Unit 1 here. I literally post the notes for the day right after class. So if they were sick, internet went out, this is where they can go. They can click on it, pull up the notes. It will have everything they need from that day to learn. Let's say they just weren't sure if they took correct notes. This is the place to go. All right. So we will always have information available for them, whether they were in class or out of class. You'll notice there's a lot of other things here. The syllabus, if you want to see that, is down on this page as well. So, what do we know? Well, I want to be able to help as much as possible. I know this is freshman year for a lot of your children, and for some, it's your first experience with honors. All of those things combine to make for nervous times and sometimes a little bit of anxiety. What I can tell you is I'm always going to try to find time to work with anyone who wants to help. And if you have any questions for me, concerns, if you want me to do a Zoom call with you and walk you through where some of these things are, I'm more than happy to. This is how you get in contact with me. There's my email. There's my number. I'm one of the few teachers who has a number directly at his desk. We don't have many phones in the office. So usually email is the best way to go. But for me, you can reach me by phone or email. And I'd be more than happy to talk with you and answer any questions you might have. Look, if you had additional questions after tonight, I didn't cover enough for you, please call. Thank you very much. I look forward to the full year with your children, hopefully getting them into school at some point in the near future. Have a good night. Thank you.